Absolute justice. Hey everyone, Casual Raccoon here, and today we open starter deck number 6. New expansion for One Piece card game OPO2 Paramount War introduces new color, black. Absolute Justice is the first starter deck for this color. The navy is finally here. Let's check it out together. On the front we see Sakazuki, leader for this deck. Standard starter deck packaging. Side resembles manga volume, so the box looks great on the bookshelf, especially together with other starter decks. On the back of the box is a list of contents including quantity and names of the cards. Without further ado, let's open it. Playsheet on one side, game rules on the reverse. I don't like cards being packed this way. Plastic film has a tight fit and bends the cards. As a result, they look like chips. Then Dawn cards for Dawn deck. Sakazuki. Standard monocolor leader, statline 5k power, 5 life. Effect reads: activate main once per turn, pay 3, trash one card from your hand. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 0. Expensive cost for such an effect. First you must reduce the cost of the opponent's character to 0 and then pay 3 Dawn. And not only that, you also must trash a card. In the current game state without constant draw or hand refill effects, it's a no-go. Even in black color there are already much cheaper removals with better effect. For example, events like Meteor, Volcano and Shockwave, or characters like Kobe. Smoker. First of the SRs in this deck. Strong statline, 5 cost, 7k power, no counter. Effect reads: this character cannot be KO'd by effects. Attach 1 Dawn. If there is a character with a cost of 0, this character gains double attack. Very strong effects. Because this character can't be KO'd by effect, it guarantees you at least one attack with it unless it's rested and killed by your opponent. Second effect, seems like this card is especially printed to auto-include in Smoker's leader deck as a finisher or constant pressure. We saw it already in other starter decks that just for 4 copies of one of the SRs it's worth it to buy 2 copies of a starter deck. Monkey D. Garb. Second SR card, 5 cost, 6k power, no counter. Nothing special. Effect reads: activate main, trash 1 card, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. Basically useless effect, especially for SR rarity. 4 cost characters cards have 5 or 6k power, so same as Garb. In my opinion, it's not efficient to res him and trash a card on top of that to get rid of one character. And yes, I understand it's meant to combo with cost reducing characters to KO stronger or more expensive characters, but still it's a lot of hassle just to activate it. Not SR worthy, and we already saw it in previous starter decks. One of the SRs is almost always a niche card. And now common rarity cards. Kobe. 1 cost, 2k power, 1k counter. Effect reads: on play, trash 1 card from your hand, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 0. At first glance, it seems like an early game card to fight for a board, but unfortunately the weak statline and expensive effect makes it hard to justify playing this card outside of the starter deck. Django. 1 cost, 3k power, 1k counter. Vanilla. Good for early play, but again only in the starter deck. Sengoku. 5 cost, 6k power, 1k counter. Effect reads: when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's character minus 4 cost during this turn. Even though it seems like a nice effect, it's probably too slow to see any play outside of the starter deck. Tashigi. 3 cost, 4k power, 2k counter. Effect reads, activate main, you may raise this character, give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during this turn. Currently, we have only 4 cards in black that have 2k counters. Tashigi is the only one from the starter deck. Even if you play her, 4k power requires only 1 Dawn investment to start attacking, and to finish things off, you can just combo her with any cost base removal. Auto included in all black decks for me. Tsuru, 2 cost, 2k power, 1k counter, blocker. Standard low cost blocker statline. Depending on your strategy, you want to include her, Rosinante, or both in your black decks. Hina. 3 cost, 5k power, no counter. Effect reads, on play, give up to one of your opponent's characters -4 cost during this turn. At first glance, it seems like a good card with a strong on-play effect, but in practice, ideally you want to play her on curve turn 2. It means you will be lowering the cost of the maximum 2 cost character by 4, which is a waste. On the other hand, keeping her to combo later in the game when she has no counter power feels clunky. Full body. 2 cost, 4k power, 1k counter. Vanilla good for early play, but only in the starter deck. Helmeppo. 2 cost, 3k power, 1k counter. Effect reads, on play, give up to one of your opponent's characters -3 cost during this turn. 2 cost allows to easily combo it with any cost base removal effect. I would play him outside of the starter deck as well. Momonga. 4 cost, 6k power, 1k counter, vanilla. Nothing interesting here. Next please. T-Bone. 3 cost, 5k power, 1k counter. Vanilla that can swing without any Dawn investment. Not worth playing it outside of the starter deck. Shockwave. 2 cost event card that reads. Effect. Counter. Up to one of your leader or character cards gain plus 4000 power during this battle. Then KO up to one of your opponent's active characters with a cost of 3 or less. Trigger. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. In my opinion, the best black event. Counter prevents early opponent's aggression and controls the board. Trigger is basically a jet pistol but better, because it checks the cost and not the power. Therefore, if your opponent attaches Dawn early to his characters, you can prevent game-ending swings if you are lucky enough to have Shockwave in your life cards. Auto included in all black decks. Great Eruption. 1 cost event that reads. Effect. Main. Draw 1 card, then give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during this turn. Trigger. Your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and trashes it. It's a card draw with a nice minus effect, but there are already a lot of character cards that reduce the cost of opponent's characters that I would prefer KO effects like for example Meteor Volcano. Whiteout. 1 cost event that reads. Effect. Counter. Up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 2000 power during this battle. Trigger. Draw 1 card and none of your characters can be KO'd during this turn. Standard 1 cost counter without any added benefit. Wouldn't play outside of the standard deck. Navy HQ. 1 cost stage that reads. Effect. On play. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost during this turn. Activate main. You may raise this stage. If your leader has the Navy type, give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost during this turn. Nothing special, waste of slot outside of standard deck. Gameplay and strategy. For the starter, it's pretty straightforward. Play your vanilla characters early, combo characters and events to control the board when possible, put pressure and set up to finish the game with SR Smoker. Is it worth buying? If you are going to play a black deck competitively, then absolutely buy 2 copies of this starter. It contains important cards for any black leader. If you can't find any decks in stock, consider buying 4 copies of these cards. Smoker, Tashigi, Helmeppo, Shockwave. Summary. To sum up, decent starter deck, weak leader. If I would be playing black competitively, I would prefer to build around Smoker leader and just include some of the cards from the starter deck, but it's a topic for another video. That's it for today from me, and now I would like to hear from you. What do you think about this starter deck? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Take it easy.